So I don't even know why I have a key when I'm gonna need a screwdriver to start the van. Very odd situation indeed. Hello everybody, good day to you, welcome back. We are returning out back to the 1995 Ford F350 with a 5.8 liter gasoline powered V8. Oh, now I know I need the key. Customer states the key in the ignition does not work. Oh, let's climb in this beast. Mileage says, I don't know. I cannot tell because it's not illuminated. Here, I'll show you what I'm talking about. Need to get a screwdriver in here. Starting's the engine. It's alive, that was quick. Yeah, we don't know the mileage. Can't make it out. Let's call it 343,249 miles on the odometer. Here, we'll just put that right down there for now so it doesn't get lost. We're gonna put this thing right nose into the shop. You're gonna go? Oh, it's in neutral, hang on here. There we go, now we got some forward gear action. We're gonna nose this particular vehicle into the front right there. Get the windows down so it's not a scorcher inside of here because it's like 130 degrees. And I'm gonna go ahead and take apart the steering column and see what we cannot do about actually putting in a key and a functioning ignition lock cylinder rather than utilizing the screwdriver method. I mean, the screwdriver works, but it's not really the best idea for security purposes, things of that nature. So, stay tuned because this is gonna be a very good video. Opening the hood. All right, we're nosed in, now that all that good stuff's out of the way. Let's get our windows down for some airflow. Parking the auto. Powering down. All right, let's move in here. This is either gonna be really hard to do or it's gonna be really easy to do, one way or the other. These things are supposed to come out. Sometimes the little lock release with the inside of the cylinder will not release and we cannot get these things to come out. Fortunately, this one still turns. When they don't turn is when we have kind of like a major problem. Let's go dig out the replacement unit. It's already here. We'll dissect it a little bit and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Let's see, new parts, new parts, new parts. Lock Smart, there we go. Part number LC14390. It's a lock and tumbler. Let's get this thing opened up and we'll check out the internals here. Get rid of that. Okay, so we have a new lock cylinder assembly with some keys. It's already been keyed. What do we have here for some directions? Caution! Lock cylinder is shipped ready for installation into steering column. Do not rotate the key clockwise until the lock cylinder is installed into the steering column. So do not take this and rotate this. It probably makes the little lock stick out, and once that happens, we can't get this thing to go in. It's not okay. Oddly enough, it appears those directions are somewhat inaccurate because this right here, see that pin? That's the locking pin that holds this cylinder into the housing inside the steering column. And we can't depress it unless we rotate the cylinder. See that? See how it goes in now? So what we need to do is find this pin on the steering column, depress it, rotate, and then extract the lock cylinder. Let's see, if we gravitate ourselves down here below the steering column, we can see the panel's already been removed at some point. It's not present. There's our cylinder, and it looks like that little guy is the release pin on that cylinder. I think that's it. Yeah, it's moving around. That appears to be it. Let's go ahead and pull that thing out. If it's gonna come out. Let's see if I can't just poke it with the screwdriver here. Yeah, we can see how the cylinder is moving when I poke the thing. You see it right there. So I'm gonna push, rotate. Look at that, okay. So the pin, what was that? Back in there. So the pin went in. Keep turning some. It has become keyed on. Oh, here we go. And I can't get it out because the plastic's in the way. Okay, let's back it up some and remove more of this plastic shrouding right here. Yeah, this stuff right here has got to go. That's not, it's not gonna work. Let's see here. If I can get this to come out without breaking stuff. I need to pop a little turning, what do they call this thing? The key shield or shroud or something? I need to remove that from the lock cylinder. Here, let's try this. Get a hold of it with some pliers. They should just pop right off. Yep, there we go. Comes right off. Not an issue. So now, let's see if we can't see what happened with this thing. Looks like it's all just nasty and boogered up in there. Probably one of the tumblers fell out of it. That's okay. Yeah, it has too much wear, or one of the tumblers broke. Is that gonna be enough? That's a negative. Everything's broken. There we go. Okay, going back in. Where did this go? Somewhere in here? Yeah, that went, I think that went like right here. That's out of commission. I believe that is the buzzer. Anyway, pushing in on the little pin. Let's rotate it so the pin collapses. And then we'll just kind of wiggle that out without stabbing myself in the face. See that? Turn the fan off. Too much noise draining the battery. And there is our old, damaged, inoperative tumbler. Let's see if the key's gonna go in it. Nope. Yeah, it won't even take the key anymore. This thing's super dead. You can see the pin. At least the pin still works. Otherwise, we would have had to have broken that or drilled it out or something like that, and that was going to run risk of damaging the column right here. And changing a tumbler is a lot easier than changing a steering column. So I'm glad we didn't break it. Let's wipe all this dirt and stuff out of here. It's kind of nasty. Ew. Okay. So we can see that this new tumbler already has the assist device. I forget what it's called. That's already installed. So what I plan to do here is put that shrouding back on where it goes, and then we'll insert our lock cylinder. There we go. Key on, key off. It's locked into position. Begin engine starting sequence now. Aha! It worked. Power down. Beautimous. All right. We have retired the screwdriver and installed a replacement cylinder with functioning keys. Excellent, successful repair. This one's good to go. However, there is one little catch. You see, you can't get these cylinders that are coded for the tumbler codes that already exist. So because of that, we're gonna end up with two separate keys. We have one key for the doors, and then these keys right here will be for the ignition. So I'll just get those guys set up just like that, and we are all good. This is what I will return to the vehicle owner. Okie dokes. Now at this point you might think that we're all done with this particular van, and well, I'm done with that job, but I actually need to switch gears and pan on over because I need to pay some TLC to this Monte Carlo that we've been tinkering with for a few weeks now. We've had the entire transaxle assembly on the ground over here, and it was separated. We had it apart. We repaired the wire loom on it. The entire wiring harness got new convolute all the way around. I put an oil pan gasket in it. We did a front and rear main seal, torque converter seal, and a couple other knick-knack items like that engine mount over there. We're at a point of reassembly, and we have found that I cannot locate the connector or the wiring harness that goes to the wheel speed sensor over here on the passenger front wheel. Now that wheel speed sensor is supposed to come out of this little harness area right here run along this control arm, and then it's supposed to plug in. However, it's nowhere to be found. It's not here. If we come over to the other side and we can see where that connector goes, speaking of that connector, let's pay attention to the type of connector that is. You see how it's got two tangs on it, one on either side? Yeah, that's going to be important later on. If we follow this wire harness back, we can see that the ABS/wheel speed sensor wire is coming out of the harness right over here. Now, it stands to reason that that same wire would come out of the harness over here, and I believe that it does. You see, we've got a ground wire here, we've got the AC compressor wire headed up there. There's another one for the what was it, the coolant temp sensor, and then there is, what's this one go to? Then there's this one right here. Now this one, that one runs up to the back of the block, and it seems to be going back behind the transmission, way back in there. You see that? If we come back out one more time, let's go back up top and check the rest of the wiring harness to make sure that we don't have a couple connectors disconnected or confused or backwards or something like that, because we need to find this wheel speed sensor wire before any more assembly takes place. So let's let this thing down. Lock disengaged. Monte Carlo Super Sport coming down. Yeah, you see those wires right there sitting on top of the fender? That's something of a concern for me. The reason that's a concern for me is this connector right here. Do you see that connector? It's kind of a unique GM connector. Now, there's only one more connector on this car that is similar in shape, size, and color, and that is this connector right here for the NOx sensor. Now, my issue is these LS engines have a NOx sensor on both sides of the block. On the back side of the block over here, we have the second NOx sensor, which we cannot see because there's a transmission in the way. Right next to that, there's the crankshaft position sensor, okay? So what is concerning to me is I've got a dangling wiring harness here with a NOx sensor connector, and very shortly after that splice, we have one more connector right there. See, oh, gravity. See that guy? Let's let this down the rest of the way and investigate somewhat further. I'm pretty sure I know what's going on here, and I'm not very thrilled about it, and you're gonna see why in just a moment. Now, my partner in crime, Troy, he's been working on this car as a side project for him, and he wasn't too pleased to hear the news about this particular harness, so he went to lunch to cool off. We can see here that it's got some aluminum taped heat shielding on it, which tells me this is supposed to be somewhere near the exhaust. Now, we can see here, there's no connectors anywhere near the exhaust at this crossover pipe. This is a V8 engine. We've got one manifold here, the other manifold's hiding way back down there behind the cylinder head, and then we've got the crossover. My issue is we know that this connector connects to the harness in this location right here, but what we do not know is where these go. And I believe that this is the NOx sensor connector on the back side of the engine, and I think this right here is the crankshaft position sensor connector. Now, the problem is, if we come back around, we already have something plugged into the crankshaft position sensor connector, which is this one. Now, that particular sensor is located, we were just here, it's located over here between the engine and transmission, and there is virtually zero access to get to it back there. We're gonna have to pull a magic trick out of the hat here to get a hold of those connectors back there and see if we can't undo this little mess. But point being is I believe that we have the wrong harness in the wrong location, and we have one random stray dangling harness just hanging out over here. Now, one more thing, looking down right there, do you see that little piece of plastic? Right there on top of the bracket. See that piece of plastic? That plastic is the clip that's going to secure this end of this connector to that bracket, and then these wires run back underneath of this Y pipe or crossover pipe down around the engine, and then they plug into NOx sensor number 2 and the crankshaft position sensor. So we need to figure out how to get this down there behind the exhaust, under the engine, between the block and the transmission, plug in 2 connectors, unplug 1 connector, reroute it back over there to the control arm, plug that in over there, and we're gonna do all of that without taking this engine back out again. Hooray! Now, the reason I'm doing this and the reason Troy's not doing this, because he's kind of upset and frustrated at what has happened here. And because of that, like I said, he went to lunch. So I'm gonna surprise him and make his day and solve this problem while he is out. That way when he walks back in with a new fresh head, he doesn't have to walk into a nightmare. Because I know what that's like. And I just don't want to subject him to the agony. Now, back down below and on the back side, if you look up, we can see past these power steering lines and past that tube for the transmission dipstick, there's a little bit of space under that exhaust manifold. Right behind that and down about 3 or 4 inches, well no, 2 or 3 inches maybe, yay inches. Behind that and down is the crankshaft position sensor. Next to it, about 6 inches over, right over here, we're gonna find the knock sensor over here on bank 2. Now, the problem is, again, we can't reach it. There is a transmission in the way. See that? We can see the wire coming through, but we have 0 access to get in there with tools, line of sight, flashlights, light, you name it, can't reach. We also can't reach from this side because there's a steering gear in the way, and we cannot reach back in and around due to the presence of that steering gear. We can't reach it from the top by removing that Y pipe because the exhaust manifold on this side is so close to the block, you can't get back in there with a hand either. So, yeah, this is kind of not okay. I wonder if there's a chance that I can climb on top of this engine and bear hug this thing and just reach around and try to disconnect that connector. Now, I don't know, we can't see it, but I'm pretty sure I can maybe try to feel it. I don't really know what to do because it's going to take hours to do this by the book. We're supposed to pull the bank 2 exhaust manifold off in order to change out the crankshaft position sensor, which tells me in order to gain access to those wiring connectors, we have to remove that bank 2 exhaust manifold, which that's not really something I'm like keen on doing right now, and I know Troy doesn't want to either. So my only hope is to reach down through there and feel it and see if I can't disconnect the thing. I don't know. Let me go fetch the overhead creeper. I'm gonna lay down on top of it and see if I can't get in there with my hand. Because the alternative is going to be, I'm gonna have to let down the subframe again and probably disconnect the exhaust, the hoses and the lines, the dipstick tube, and who knows what else I need to remove in order to gain a little bit of space back there. I might have to remove the steering gear again. And I already did that once. And I don't want to do it a second time. All right, let's get this creeper overhead, hence the name overhead creeper. Lock it down with the brakes. And I'm gonna see if I cannot reach way down there. I don't know. Maybe I can, maybe I can't, but I'm gonna have to bear hug this engine to get down there. And I can't get past the manifold. And that's a negative. Nope. If this is gonna happen, I've got to do it from the bottom side. Okay. Well, that's not fun. This is not fun at all. All right, let's slide in the pole jack here. I'm gonna support the subframe and take the 2 rear bolts out of it to let this thing down with the screw jack. All right, subframe bolt number 1. That one's out. Number 2 is right over here to our left. One click, that one's out. Now the 2 front ones are still in. We're gonna leave those there. The idea here is to just let this down so I can get as much space as possible to stick my hand in to try to get a hold of that connector. So it's coming down some. Feels pretty good so far. See that? Just trying to make some space. We've got about 4 inches. Now I still can't reach in there, but it kind of brings everything more into a level plane with me, so I don't have to like reach up and down. We'll see how that's gonna work. Okay, now that we've lowered down some, let's go back into the wheel well. And you can see there's a little bit of space right there between the steering gear and that exhaust, and I can kind of get a hand in it, but I can't get back far enough to reach the back of the engine block. So going in through that direction is not going to work. However, there is the most amount of space right there. Problem is steering gear's in the way. So I think what I'll do, since there's a bolt, it's only got 2 bolts holding it in. There's one there, second one's right here. I think I'm just going to take those 2 bolts back out, pop the steering gear loose, and see if I can't reach in behind it at that point. It's worth a shot. All right, so I've got an 18 mil on a 90-degree impact, and I'm on the fastener, going in on the back side with another 18 wrench to hold the nut. We're gonna break this thing loose, or not twice. There it goes. I think this will work. I think. You know, that's one side. Let me reach over, get the second side here. And I can't get to the fastener, so I need to take the sway bar loose. That's this guy right here. I gotta take that loose from the subframe. There's a mount here and a mount right there. See the blue? Let's see if this is gonna work here. Move that out of the way. Okay, 2 bolts. I'll leave the strap right there, and we'll run over to the other side, get that one disconnected as well. Passenger side. Okay, now the sway bar is kind of loose. Hope that's enough to get that bolt to come out. You know, I don't think it is, so while we're here, let's go ahead and take the end link off as well, get that out of the way. Got it. Okay, now I can pull this end link apart, save the pieces, we need those for later. And now I can freely move my sway bar around, and that's good. All right, let's try this again. That's the bolt. When we get a hold of the nut, we can spin that bolt out. Let's see here. From the back side. And get back on there. She's out. Okay. Now the steering gear is a little bit loose. You can pop that up and out of its little bracket and maybe move it back some. Let's fetch the pry bar and move back to the other side. Let's pop this side out first while we're here though. No reason to come back to it. I changed my mind again. And that's mostly out of there. We can get the rest from the other side. Let's get out of here. Maneuvering around, circumnavigating the Monte Carlo. Going in with some pry bar. We just need to pick this thing up and out of that aluminum bracket. Just like so. Come on out. You gonna make it? Let's try to slide it back towards me in this direction. There we go. Down she goes. Now do I have some space? Not really. Maybe. We'll see. All right, I'm gonna try it. I'm reaching back and in. Sorry if you guys can't see. Oh, I think I feel it. I feel a connector. And I have disconnected the connector. I got it. That's off. All right, now let's get back down here and let's fish that that wire out from in here. See where it's going in behind the trans? Let's fish this wire out of there. Come here. off. Yeah, here it comes. And remember I said pay attention to those connector style? See this little, you'll see the design of it? Let's go over here and recheck the right side, and we have the exact same type of connector. So, mystery is halfway solved. I found the ABS wire connector. That one goes right in there. That's where she lives. So now I need to work on getting that other wiring harness down under the exhaust and then plugged into 2 connectors. Now one I could reach, I don't know if I can reach the knock sensor just yet, but I'm gonna try. Oh, I'm gonna try. All right, we need to ascend the ladder, reach over the fender and see if I can't route that other harness down under the transmission. I mean, this might be a victory so far, but the chances of defeat are actually quite great, because if I can't get this down there where it's supposed to be, then I'm gonna take all this apart again, and that's not gonna be okay. So, going with what we know that this connector goes on that bracket, therefore these wires go under that exhaust. Okay, I think I can reach them from the back side down here. Yep, there they are. There's our 2 connectors. Let's slide these guys back under, around, and through, like tying your shoes, and under the exhaust. Oh, hang on, that harness is boogered up. I need to tape that up. Some of the convolute has torn away. Yeah, look at that. That's not gonna work. I love my job so much, I'll just do it over and over and over again. Now, I do not have any replacement heat shielding, so I'm not gonna take all this off. We're just gonna wrap this up with some cloth tape, real nice like. And that will protect this area of the harness. There we go. Get the blade, get it cut, get it taped. Now, I'm gonna put it back. Way down there, put that way down there, and then we're gonna go way down there. I see you. Let's not get this tangled up around ship linkage. Tuck that back. Okay, so that connector is for the knock sensor. This one is going to be for our crank position sensor. And that's the critical one, because without the crank sensor, this thing will not run. There we go. Slide that all past the exhaust, down, and I've got to reach in, bury my arm inside that little hole right there, and see if I can't get these things to click on. Alright guys, I don't know if you can see. I have no idea if you're going to be able to see, but I have you guys kind of up and looking down on top of the transmission here. I'm going to see if I can't keep y'all parked right here. And then you can try to see what I'm trying to do here. Maybe you'll be able to do it, maybe not. But it's the best I can do. So that's what we're going to work with here. It's either going to work or it's not. It's not. Alright, reaching in. I'm going to start with the crankshaft position sensor first, which is the shorter one right here. And here's the connector for the sensor. I can feel the sensor body. There it is. And got it. Crank sensor connector is connected. And I can feel the knock sensor as well. Here's the knock sensor connector. Got it! Woohoo! Hope you guys managed to see that. I got it. Both connectors have been reconnected. It is on. That's fantastic. Crisis averted. This is what we need. This one plugs in right here. Now we have a wheel speed sensor connector connected. This is all backwards. What am I doing? I got it backwards. Flip that around. Click. Connector clickage. There we go. That's where this one goes. Not back there. That was fun and unfortunate. And I don't ever want to do that again. Okay. Let me get this steering gear back in position here. Let's bolt this guy back in. Whenever Troy gets back from lunch, he can take over. But for now, let's just slide that guy in right there. There we go. And that one's going in position. Very nice. Okay, so it looks like Troy and I are switching sides today, because now he's over here working on my van and I'm over here kind of buttoning this stuff back together. I have got both of the bolts in already. There's that one there, that one there. I've got the Kill People bolt in at the steering sleeve where the steering column connects to the steering gear. Tie rods are still off, and I've got to tighten down the sway bar bushing bolts right here and right here, and likewise on the other side. So let me fetch, there it is. Let me fetch my electron ratchet, and we'll get those straps buzzed back down and resecured. So I noticed in the comments, every time I mention Troy, or I show Troy, everybody's like, who's Troy? And that's when I realized that, or I have to remind myself that not everybody watches every video every day. If you do watch every video every day, and you, whoa, there it is, flashlight, then you should know about flashlight gravity, and you would also be aware of who Troy is. So for those of you who are the uninitiated in the situation, Troy is my helpy helper that I hired to be my helpy helper. He's been here about, what? Troy, how long you worked here? Like 2 months?
5 years.
No, don't be a liar. Nobody likes a liar. I mean, embellishing is one thing, but you know, that's a lie. I haven't even been here 5 years. Yeah, what's it been, like 2 months? 6 weeks?
They hired me back in the beginning of July.
Oh, all right, so yeah, a couple months, month and a half.
Wait, no, not July. July hadn't even been.
Your face is on a transmission.
It is.
Yeah, well anyway, that's Troy. For those of you who don't know Troy, say hi, Troy.
Hi, Troy. All
right, now we know who Troy is, so we can stop asking about it. All right, let's go back over here and finish this work, or get something done. See how quickly I flew off on a tangent? That's that tension thing or whatever. Put that on there. Ah, clickage. And we'll get the other side as well. Hopefully there's enough space in there to get that one. I had the subframe a little higher up than I did when I took these out. I think it's gonna make it. Clickage, yep. A little bit more tighter-ish. There. No, a little more. There we go. Pick that guy up. Put this one in. Additional clickages. All right, that one's tight. What? What are you laughing at? He's over there like giddy. What did I do?
No.
What did you do?
There's double red rockets on that.
Red rockets?
Yeah, on the exhaust on that.
Oh, yeah, it's got glass pack mufflers, yeah. Oh, that's what you're laughing at. You're like, it's got glass packs from AutoZone.
It's so cute.
Get in the zone. AutoZone. All right, enough screwing around. This is tight, that's tight, this is tight. The other one is not installed yet. So let's get back to the other side and get that part done. Let's go ahead and start getting this sway bar end link back in position here. I got all the pieces in a jumble in my hand, so bear with me. There we go. No, get in there. There we go. And now I just need to drop everything on the floor. All right, pry bar. It was so close. I almost had it. I just didn't have the strength to pry up on this. Let's try again. Oh, I guess that's a good thing because I had this on backwards. That was also backwards. Everything is wrong. Get that in there. Get our washer on there. Get our bushing on there with the little protruding part sticking out. And then I'll pry this up. Get that in position. There we go. Push that back down. Now I can get the last bushing, the last washer, and then the nut. There we go. Beautiful. Got it. Okay, let's run this thing down. And I think this operation will be complete, mostly. Click. Okay, sway bar is in position. That's locked down. That's tight. The bushings have started to compress ever so slightly. Bushings on the rod themselves, those are tight. Steering gear's in. All the wiring harnesses are in their proper location. I think I'm good here. I'm gonna give this thing back to Troy, let him finish it up. And on that note, I think I'm gonna go ahead and get this video finished up as well. And I will do that as always by thanking each and every one of you guys for watching this video. Certainly hope you enjoyed this video. If you did enjoy this video, please feel free to let me know about that by tapping that like button down below. Drop me a comment or two while you're down there. And most importantly, do not forget to have yourselves a great day. See you guys later. Into Monte Carlo, into E350, into Troy introduction, into video, into day. See you guys later. Subframe clicks. So powerful. It picks up whole engines. Yeah. Amazon link down below. Ending moment of shameless self-promotion.